Hi guys, thanks again for joining me on Sealed for Good. Today I'm going to talk about reducing waste and inefficiency when you're waterproofing. And this is one that I sometimes see the real smart applicator contractor out there aware of, and others that are so keen to get out there and do the work and they forget where the potential inefficiencies are, and actually when they don't judge that, that's when they burn the dollars and impacts their profit margin. So important to understand that if you can reduce waste on site, then what you have is less of a cost that you're just throwing away, but also your time. So let's start with the measuring piece. You'll see in behind me now our Gripset measuring buckets. They are very important to use when you are measuring product in terms of whether it be powders or liquids that you might have to mix with water or a part A, part B. And let's use our Gripset 2P as an example where you've got a liquid and a powder additive and you're not using the whole kit. Don't go and measure by eye and estimate it and then find we've got a litre left over at the end and we've wasted it, and we've got 2 litres here and it's gone away. That is still all cost to you or to your boss, those guys out there watching, they're working for someone else. Remember, someone else is paying for that. Ensure that you are using type measures to ensure that you've got the correct amount being made, and then you use what you need. It's always better to mix a little bit more up to complete the job than have mixed a whole heap and you've got nothing to do with it at the end, then you're going to throw it. Because firstly, it's a cost to you with the materials. Secondly, it's a cost to that site to get rid of the waste. And let me tell you, waste management on building sites, that is a disruptive area that's coming our way, and it's going to be put not just from the builder or the client on site, they're going to come back to the contractor to start managing their own waste and the cost of that if it's not already happening out there. So be aware of that, because that is where there's a lot of waste that happens, and that's time that you burn. The second thing is, when you are selecting your materials for a building site or for a job that you're doing, don't always go with something you think has worked all the time. Look at the conditions, what's on the surface, the weather, the time that's needed, and ensure that you go with products that actually can give you the time efficiency. I always talk about this. Your time is worth far more than some of the products you think you're going to save money on. And so sometimes guys say, I'll use the cheaper primer and the cheaper product or this product because I don't want to go to the next level. But if you're going to spend another hour or two on site to finish it with those products, and you had to spend an extra $15 to $20 in materials, work out the math, okay? Or even worse, having to come back the next day to finish it again. We've got products like our Express range, our 38FC, where you can get jobs done completed in quicker time than anything else. If that's going to cost you more by the litre, but you don't have to have another trip to get there the next day, you've made money just in that saving. So you need to understand where your efficiencies lie, because that's where money is burnt. The other thing is, when you're doing your calculations and your quotes, when you're measuring, measure accurately. So it's fine when you get given a set of drawings. When you get given a set of drawings, you can get that accurate, and unless the drawings vary from what you find on site, then it shouldn't change. But the big one we get caught out with, which I see, is when guys go on site and they see a bathroom, they see a balcony, they do their square meterage, they calculate it, and there could be cuts in the area either from doorways or acute angles, and they estimate. These days, guys, with your smartphones, take a photo of the site as well as measuring out the area, and ensure that when you go back to quote that, you've taken into account actually what could be more. Sometimes you think there's an area that's cut out that's less material, but you actually might have more time needing to do all the detailing or reinforcements. And so you need to take all that into account, because if you get on site on the day you're doing the work and then you start worrying about that, you find, oh shit, we haven't got this material, got to go back to this store, got to go and buy that, go back downstairs to the van and get these items out. When if you're all prepared, you know exactly what you're doing. That is time. Your time is money, and your materials are money, and you get the efficiency knowing exactly what you're up for before you start the job, and you're planning, and it's nice and fresh, and it just keeps moving forward from there. That's an important one. And the other piece is, finally, which is one that I see often, a lot of guys work week to week. They buy the materials, they know the jobs they got for the week, but you might have a project or a couple projects where you need the same materials, same membranes or systems that are going to happen for the next couple of weeks or for the month. And what you could be doing is actually planning potentially that your uptake on those materials is going to be higher. There's a chance there to actually work with your supplier to get a better deal by a bulk buy. And you need to ask those questions, but you can do that by planning. You don't want to be stuck with stock. I get that inventory is an issue for everybody, but you must ensure that it's no good going back to the same place every 2 or 3 days or every week to buy the exact same material, when maybe if you bought 3 to 6 to a dozen at a time, you could get a better price or a pallet. And ask about that, because you'd be surprised how many resellers, particularly our Gripset resellers out there that are out there to help the customer, are there to help ensure you gain efficiency, you make profit, they've got efficiency as well, and it all streams on from there. You keep winning the work and everyone's happy. Work together, work with your suppliers, work with Gripset and work with your builder, and ensure that you're getting that job done as efficiently as possible and reduce that waste time and waste in general that happens on site. Any questions on this, throw them our way. Lots more tips coming this way on how to ensure that you create greater efficiency when you're waterproofing. I'll see you next time.